YouTube! What the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. Sorry, it's been a while. I was moving into a new house. We are now settled in the new house of Carthage, I guess, in the local precinct of Bale. Not exactly. Doesn't exist in Arkansas, but thought it would be fun to say anyway. And I am back with some action on the Pirates and Raiders DLC from online, and then I'll also make some videos just kind of giving you a brief overview of what it's like to get into their campaign. And what I may do is play some limited campaign with each of the factions. The problem with campaign in Rome 2, and it's not to say that I won't ever do any that we don't finish all the way, is that it takes an extraordinarily long time to finish a campaign. But what I may be able to do is play some limited campaign to get you introduced to each faction, show you what they can do, and we can set some limited goals. Like, for instance, if you're playing as a Balkan tribe, I could just conquer the Balkan Peninsula and kind of give you an idea on how to get things started. So that was one idea. And then one thing I thought would be fun too, and I'm trying to think about how to go about it, would be if there's some way for me to post the save game file where if you all want to take my campaign and finish it or something like that, you'd be able to. But I'm trying to think through that and think about the best way to do it. If you have any ideas, let me know. Let me know what you think about the idea for that on the campaign. But in any case, there's one replay I want to show you here. I have several, and to be fair, there's going to be a fair few of these battles I'm going to be losing because basically what I'm doing is taking these new DLC factions against anything that gets thrown against me and taking weird builds or whatever I can find to try and get a feel for these factions. And some people might think that my builds are stupid, and sometimes they are, but sometimes that's the way I like to learn. Just take something, see what happens, see how it works, see how stuff plays out and how different players react. So yeah, let's get things started. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean I'm going to lose every battle that I'm showing you. I'm just letting you all know that before you get on to me for having a hard time. So here's an Odrysian Kingdom versus Tylis battle, and this one's cool because it's going to get to show you two. This was against a fan, or a viewer, I shouldn't say fan. This was against a viewer who was excited to play me, and he picked Tylis, and then I picked Odrysian Kingdom. And of course, coming as Odrysian Kingdom, I'm sure that he was expecting me to bring the all-powerful Thracian nobles that are sure to be making a hit online right now. And I've got 4 units of Thracian cavalry, which has a pretty good attack. It's got low armor and not such great health, but it has decent melee defense, attack, and weapon damage, as well as javelins, and so I was going to give them a try. My main line is Thracian nobles here. I think I've got 5 of them, and then I've got 2 mercenary falxmen to soak up any charge from enemy units. And then I've got 3 Thracian horsemen and 1 Thracian royal cavalry. Thracian horsemen are kind of a medium cavalry. And then, see, my opponent playing as Tylis, I can see a couple of Celtic slingers there. Tribal warriors are a very well-armored, very high melee defense unit. A pretty powerful unit, actually. And then he's got an Oathsworn as well, a couple of them. So he's got tribal warriors and Oathsworn, which are high defense units, and they're going to be going against high attack units. Over here, I went ahead and attacked his raiding cavalry because by the statistics, my men ought to easily win this fight. But you're going to see something interesting here, which is his men win the fight, which makes absolutely no sense. I didn't get to catch the charge, but I was pretty sure that I charged him. But for some reason, his guys just handily win this fight, even though their stats are lower in almost every category. Their melee defense is higher. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the melee defense. Their melee defense is higher. Anyway, they just beat the crap out of my horsemen. Out here, I've started a fight with some of his cavalry. I threw a Thracian noble in, and then rear charged with my guys who were hidden in the woods to pin down his noble horse. Out here, I'm using my mercenary falxmen just to intercept his charge from the tribal warriors, and to get quite a few kills, actually. That's pretty cost-effective exchange for me, because I got a clean charge on his tribal warriors, and those guys are going to be more expensive than my mercenary falxmen, who managed to get a fair number of kills in that charge, and then I'm going to get repositioned for the main infantry engagement, which is going to follow. So here I'm going to get hopefully another good clean charge with my Thracian nobles, but they're going to get back charged by more Gallo Thracian infantry, so that's going to be bad. And then again, I'm just going to try and get these guys set up to get a charge, and then all the while this cav fight has now been reinforced by his spears. It is going to give me the opportunity to pretty much chew up his noble horse, though. And then I still have cav units around. I have these Thracian cav that can keep their distance and throw javelins into the back of this blob. And here you can see my Thracian nobles getting countercharged by an Oathsworn. This is bad. because those Oathsworn have higher defense and armor. You really want your Thracian nobles to get a solid charge, and that's going to be their, you can see right there, not getting a solid charge really. They will do good in extended combat, don't be fooled. They do have low melee defense, but their attack is blisteringly high, and their damage is blisteringly high. So just because they don't have good defense, don't assume that they're going to be bad in a prolonged melee. It's certainly not where they excel, but they're not bad at it. So if you do want to beat these guys, this is how to do it. My opponent did a good job. There's just times where he back charged me and didn't give me the best charge, and so it's going to give him a much better chance. Here he's going to throw some javelins in on my Thracian warriors. Again, another great way. This time I pinned up one of his raiding horsemen with 2 of my cav, and I've got another Thracian horseman back here. This fight is kind of grinding down. I did manage to get his noble cavalry killed, but now my opponent has these slingers here, and these guys are actually pretty dangerous to my my Thracian nobles. I do have pretty good armor ratings, but not a very good shield rating, so these slingers are gonna take their toll. I've got to get rid of them, and I'm gonna end up trying to use this Thracian cavalry to do so, and also my raiding cavalry. I'm just trying to stay away from his spears, and in the long run, you can see that although my Thracian nobles are not all that great after the charge, well, they get a lot of their kills on the charge, but again, you can see that even against these really tough units, they manage to hold out and cause a lot of damage. So if you want to beat these guys, absorb their charge with a cheap unit, and then hit them with a high defense unit and surround them. Hit them with missiles. Do what my opponent's doing here. He's doing a good job, and as you can see, this is an extremely close battle. I just got his slingers with some of my horsemen, and then I get a rear charge on his Oathsworn. It is just missile cav though, so it's not going to be an instant break, and he's reinforcing with spears. But immediately I'm going to pull out and then come around for another charge. And you can see that he's using Intimidate and Warcry, trying to get rid of my Thracian noble. My opponent's playing a really good game here, and it's a really tight game. He did a great job of disrupting my Thracians on the charge, which means that the melee battle took longer, which means that it gives him a better chance of winning in the end. Here comes my Thracian cav for another rear charge into his Oathsworn, and this is just going to be to continually keep his morale down, hopefully get a couple of kills, which is all I got there, a couple. But that should give my Thracian nobles what they need to finish this fight off. Yeah, you can see his Oathsworn there. His spear warriors are getting chewed apart by my Thracian nobles. And then here comes yet another rear charge. So, just bringing these guys on a cyclo charge, and it starts to pay dividends now. That time I got some good kills. And I'm going to wrap those guys up. And then over here, his men are wanting to join the fight, but I keep feint charging them with my Thracian horsemen. And he does go ahead and commit this tribal warrior, which this is a pretty tough unit remaining still. But I'm going to countercharge it with my Thracian nobles, and I go into headhunt to really keep my guys' morale from faltering, because they are badly outnumbered by these Thracian warriors. This spear unit started to waver, so I went ahead and charged it with my Thracians and destroyed it. This is going to allow me to rear charge his tribal warriors. And because my Thracian nobles were in headhunt, their morale held, and my cavalry was able to make it into the back of these tribal warriors and end what was a very bloody and very close battle. That was a good one, and it was an interesting way to show these two factions. So infantry-wise, Odrysian Kingdom should have a huge advantage over Tylis, but you can see that the way my opponent played that battle, he made it very difficult for me with infantry that otherwise really shouldn't be up to par on a head-to-head basis with these Thracian nobles. And my guys did get a lot of kills, but again, you saw how he used his army. And to be quite honest, if he hadn't gotten this noble horse wrapped up a little bit early in the fight, I'm pretty sure that he would have taken this one from me. There was a few things that I thought that were interesting. I did a really poor use of both of these Thracian horsemen. He just caught them on the hoof and destroyed them. These were the two cavalry that, for whatever reason, got destroyed by his raiding cav that I thought they should have killed them. Still not sure why that is. I'll have to do some more testing. My general was not particularly effective, which was another problem for me in this battle. But these two Thracian cavalry ended up paying off, being helpful. And these two Falksmen, it doesn't look like they did much, but remember, these guys took a head-on charge with a couple of his tribal warriors. And if you look at those two tribal warrior units here, their number of kills isn't very high. We'll go take a look at their price. And then this Oathsworn didn't get a particularly large number of kills. However, look at this cheap Gallo-Thracian infantry racking up 90 kills here. This was a pretty handy unit. And then his spear units, 2 of them, his spear warriors did quite well, getting 60 some odd kills. This tribal warrior did well, and his Oathsworn general did well. And of course I had one Thracian noble with 210 kills here, another with 203. Those guys are extremely dangerous. Let's go take a look at a couple of things just real quick. Let's go into custom battle. And I've got Odrysians there, and let's put up Tylis here, and we can look at a couple of the unit costs just to understand the aftermath. So 320 with my mercenary Thracian Falxmen getting almost 50 kills each, not quite, against tribal warriors at a price of 710. So I think that was, let's see if that was cost effective. So they should have killed roughly half his unit, which they basically did. Yeah, it was close. It wasn't as cost effective as I thought because these guys were cheaper than I thought. To be honest, at a price of 710, these guys don't come with a high attack, but 70 melee defense and 65 armor is good. Their health is kind of low, but that's an interesting unit right there. High armor, 25 shield value, 44 weapon damage is good, decent charge bonus, good bonus versus infantry. Yeah, they don't have a very good attack, but those guys are going to be a pretty strong holding force. And at the price is right. And if you combined them with these Thracian warriors, maybe use these guys to hold, and then use this these Thracian warriors or Gallo Thracian infantry on the flanks. At 650, that's an interesting sword unit there too. It's got higher armor than it looked like. Again, fairly low health on both these units though. These Thracian warriors would be a deadly flank unit though if you could get them into a flank. 15 bonus versus infantry, 45 attack, 51 damage. Those guys would be dangerous in a flank. And then let's take a look at the Odrysian Kingdom. Yeah, so my horsemen were cheap. These guys didn't have to do much to be effective. Again, I'm still surprised by the Thracian cavalry versus the raiding horsemen. So it's got to be the melee defense, I guess, that turned that fight. Interesting. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this replay. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.